For analysis on some of the races and a look ahead to some of the high-profile rallies that we'll be having in the coming days, I'm joined by Dylan Smith, editor and publisher of the Tucson Sentinel, Jim Kelly, a contributing editor for 1030 KVOI, and Luis Carrasco from the Arizona Daily Star, editorial writer. My thanks to all of you for being here. Let's begin with the Senate race, and we'll start with you, Dylan, a clear winner in that one.
Both of the candidates managed to show some strong points and appeal to the voters that they were looking to appeal to. I think Martha McSally was looking to really play to her base and get them a little bit more amped up. And Kyrsten Sinema was trying to, I think, a little bit rise above the fray and be as cool and composed as she could possibly be.
I think they both miscalculated in their performance. McSally was manic, Sinema was sleepy. It was really, I think, undecideds lost. They stuck to their talking points and in very strange fashion.
There were a couple of moments when Sinema could have challenged McSally back a little bit harder and chose not to.
I've been in Martha McSally's presence many times when she's giving her presentation and she's talking. That eagerness is in every time she talks to anybody, and so I'm very glad that she got to show that eagerness to a much larger audience, because usually it's in a small group that I've been with her in. I think by far she won.
Did the independents or the undecided come away with saying, oh, I'm going to check that box because now I'm convinced this is the candidate for me?
I would not have been convinced either way.
Okay.
Neither really took the opportunity to get it into any discussion of substantive differences on policy. They just stuck to their, most simplest of talking points, and McSally especially kept trying to pivot away to the things that she wanted to talk about rather than the questions that
was
were
it
put
the
before
military?
her. It may have been the military that she was interested in discussing.
And that is one of the big differences. I mean, when Kyrsten Sinema's entire campaign has been, I'm going to try to look as Republican as possible in this red state, when she's running as a Democrat, and her entire history is a very far left progressive history. So
that's not so.
But so as
she's voted what percentage of time with the Trump administration?
What, less than 50?
So
over
60.
But we've had Republicans that voted for bills that Obama signed. So I mean, it doesn't matter, and under those kinds of conditions, when you're voting on continuing resolutions for the budget and things like that.
This is a very important race in the U.S. Senate.
It's extremely important.
Yes.
Extremely important.
The entire country is watching this one. Is Arizona the battleground state that we've heard it is? And will this race determine that?
It is a battleground state, and I do believe that this race will determine that. And I think the future of the Senate as an institution, in the way that are they going to return to regular order? Are we going to start calming all of this stuff down and start being civil again with each other? It will be determined by this race.
Arizona's finally going to elect a woman as a senator, no matter which one.
Regardless of which party, we'll have a woman
Regardless
serving.
of which party, yeah. That it changes. He's right. It changes the face of the Senate.
Luis?
Yeah, but I mean, if the Senate wants to get back to regular order, it has to elect Democrats. And that's even if you reject the ideology, there has to be that balance for there to be an incentive to try and work together and in a bipartisan fashion. Otherwise, the Republicans will just continue to run roughshod over everything and get all they want.
You do realize Republicans believe they were run roughshod over for 8 years, right?
I think objectively we can see.
Republicans were calling for regular order. Senator Flake, Senator McCain, they were calling for regular order the entire Obama administration. So whoever is in power is going to run roughshod over whoever is not.
Well, Senator Flake and Senator McCain were a year ago calling for a return to regular order, and doing so quite loudly. And who's been in control of the Senate? The Republicans. Did they do so? No, they didn't.
All right, let's move away from the Senate. Let's go to Congressional District 3. We had the debate this week here at Arizona Public Media. Congressman Grijalva has been in office for 16 years. Is Nick Pearson that person to challenge him moving into this one?
Nick's a good candidate. He's a very good candidate. We cannot not challenge Raul Grijalva in his own district. We have to put a candidate up. And we look for the strongest candidates, and Nick has been a very strong candidate. He won his primaries 2-1 to his primary opponents, in all 3 counties, by the way. So yeah, Nick's ready to take this. He's ready to take the fight to Grijalva, and it's going to be tough. 2-1. It's going to be tough.
Luis, will it be close? You're smiling over here.
I know. I mean, Mr. Pearson seems like a very nice guy. He is very earnest in his desire to try to help the people of CD3, but he is not a very good candidate. When we met with him for the editorial board doing endorsements, he was really not very informed on the issues. He seemed any type of pushback, he seemed put off by. And so it was really, I wish, honestly, even though I agree with a lot of things that Representative Grijalva believes in, I wish that he had a strong opponent, because that really ups everybody's game. And Pearson is not that candidate.
Dylan, we had two debates between these two candidates. Nick Pearson was a very different person in the first debate versus the second one. Did he win over anyone in his debate here in Tucson?
I don't know about winning over. You know, talking about a strong candidate against Grijalva in CD3 is, you have to put that in context. Certainly Pearson's a better candidate than the GOP has fielded in the past.
Jim, will the Republican Party start the search for that strong candidate for CD3? I mean, seems...
No, it's not CD3 that we're going to have to worry about, because the next time we do this, we're going to be in redistricting. So what you're going to see is CD3's shape change, because the demographics of the district are changing, and we're going to see those new numbers in this election. That's one of the good things about why we keep putting people up against Grijalva, even though he's so very, very comfortable in his position. Because every single time we do, we get more data and new numbers out of the precincts that are within that particular area. So regardless of redistricting, as things change, we have the numbers and we have the data at the precinct level. So trust me, Grijalva's not going to want his district 2.5 years from now.
Luis, you alluded to this earlier. Is Grijalva getting too comfortable in his seat?
I think he is. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I think I don't think he's ineffective, as some people have said, but he definitely needs that challenge. And the Republican Party has just not given him a challenge.
Dylan, what are your thoughts? I mean, all eyes will be on Arizona. We have the president who will be in town. We have Bernie Sanders coming to the state in the next week. This is a battleground state. We've said that a moment ago. Is this one last push to really confirm some of these votes?
We're heading into that period when both parties are definitely trying to turn out the base. At this point, I don't think they're really interested in expanding that and appealing to, you know, those folks in the middle who are undecided. The job now, ballots are out, is to get your folks to get those ballots filled in and returned.
Jim, these are heavy hitters in their respective parties. Does it do enough to seal the deal?
The party not designated, it's a fight for those. In CD2, either party, either Ann Kirkpatrick or Leah Marquez Peterson, both of them need 5,000 independent votes to vote for them, to win. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just the way the numbers come up year after year after year. But I think you're going to see a higher voter turnout this year than we've seen in a long, long time for midterms.
Luis, we have more independents than we do in Democrats in Arizona this time around. This is what it's going to take, these big visits?
I don't know, these big visits, as we've all said, this will play to the base more than the independents, although independents are all, you know, they all lean one way or another.
Yeah, we're talking. I think we need to differentiate between the PNDs, the so-called independent voters, and the undecided voters. There are plenty of people who are not with either party who know exactly who they're voting for.
Yeah,
right?
That's correct. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
But as far as turnout, yeah, this will be. I think this will break some records or get very close to it, and that's good for Democrats. But I think that Republicans are also kind of waking up to
I'm
the blue wave.
Forward to the record numbers for this midterm, because, like I said, it produces data, and data gives me intelligence, and intelligence gives me, you know, what we call scope to task. And
all right.
So that's where we're at.
Well, gentlemen, if we can all agree, then I think we'll have you back, and we'll talk about that after Election Day. Thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you.